back, boys and girls, to another episode of K-Babe Comparisons. My name is Mr. Know-It-All, Daniel John Schafer, and I am joined once again by the king of K-Babe frontside 180 kickflips, Mr. Wex breaking the Lawson. Wex, how we living today, bro?
Living pretty good now. You know, we've got past COVID. We got past the snowstorm, which there might be another one coming here soon, but we are living pretty good today. Sipping on a little brew over here, getting ready to talk some modern wrestling and some nostalgic wrestling.
What brew do you have over there? What are you drinking on?
I'm drinking on that New Belgium Voodoo Ranger.
Ooh, that's a goodie. I currently have the Sweetwater G13 IPA. It's a 420 strain.
Oh, yeah, because G13 is a weed strain. G13 hash plant. Mr. Nice Guy. Yeah,
Mr. Nice Guy. That's a goodie. It's a goodie. It's very delicious. It is very dank. It does smell like, when you crack these beers, it smells straight up like weed. But it's delicious, and I thoroughly enjoy it.
What's the ABV?
6.2. So it's not too heavy, but it's not too light. You know?
I'm drinking on a 9% right now.
Yikes! So you got the Imperial guy over there. Wow, the big boy.
Hey,
man,
might as well go big.
Boys,
go big, go home.
We got a lot of big news going on, right? We got what's going on in the news and the notes. What's the haps right now? Spill the tea, baby.
Dude, the tea that just popped off literally hours before we started to record. WWE Hall of Famer Sunny, who has had many different run-ins with the law, had a troubled history, a very troubled past. She was arrested today for illegal weapon possession and terroristic threats. And the details haven't really came out exactly what happened, but sounds about par for the course right there for Sunny.
Tammy.
Yeah, I mean, like we said, off camera, we discuss how most Tammys, not to offend anybody, are usually like redneck white trash.
Most of the time. There's always exceptions to the rule. Okay? But if you're out there going by Tamara, you ain't fooling anybody. We know you're a Tammy deep down. Just go ahead and embrace the internet Tamminess of it.
Exactly. We know what's going on.
What else we got going on in the notes, man?
Okay, I guess we'll go ahead and keep it with WWE right now. And Corey Graves, after 7 years, has been cleared to compete.
What?
Yep.
Really?
Basically, anybody who got injured and said they couldn't wrestle no more, medicine's good now. Modern medicine's fucking great. You're coming back. Everybody's coming back. We never thought Edge would come back. We never thought
Paige
Brian
is coming back too, right? Isn't that a thing? They've been trying to like Paige.
I've heard that, but honestly, do we really want to see Paige back?
I mean, I don't. I have zero desire to see that, to be completely honest with you. But, I mean, it can't hurt. Okay. It can't hurt their situation. It can't hurt their situation now.
Definitely. Any company that signed Paige, if she goes back to WWE or whatever, definitely popular, going to boost her stuff.
I'm pretty sure she's still signed. Isn't she not?
I'm pretty sure she's still technically under contract. They just don't do anything with her because what can they do?
Right. No, I get it, yeah.
Yeah. Also, some WWE news. This is funny news to me. They're going to be having an Elimination Chamber match in Saudi Arabia, which is pretty ridiculous choice of match.
When is that? Is that February show?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to cover it. We're going to recover it.
Might as well cover it. Yeah, and the last little bit of WWE news, which was definitely the biggest thing in the WWE news, they are getting sued by MLW.
Ooh, for
them, apparently WWE doing some antitrust stuff and monopolization stuff and blocking them from getting TV deals and contracts for other streaming services. Yeah, a story came like Vince, one of the executives, actually it also another part of it whenever MLW started working with Vice earlier last year.
Yeah.
A WWE executive reached out to them and said that Vince McMahon is pissed that you're working with MLW and you need to stop. And then they immediately was like, oh, that is illegal as hell, and you can't do that. And they're like, well, I'm sorry, I can't control the boss.
What? That is... Yeah. First of all, why? MLW is not a... we love MLW around here. I'm not trying to disparage it.
Exactly why. Because Tubi, which is owned by Fox, was also trying to give them a deal, and WWE was like, nope. Nixed it because they're doing the thing with Fox.
That's just so dumb to me, though.
Yeah, I know. It's ridiculous. So... and they're just basically saying they're trying to sue him, saying they blocked them from getting deals that would have definitely pushed their company into a different level and all these other things. So we'll see what happens with that. I don't think MLW has enough money to even try to pursue this.
No, there's no way.
I think it's probably bad for them unless it's unless they have a lawyer that knows something that we don't know, that WWE is going to get real fucked, or maybe they'll settle out of court, pay him some money.
I'm hoping that's the case. They just have this plan to get it settled out of court. It makes more sense that way. Or maybe it's just like, hey, if we try to sue them for this, they'll probably just settle it this, and then it's a win-win. So I don't know. We'll see. Anything else on the dirt sheets there?
Yeah, we got a little bit of Impact in AEW news. For Impact, they just signed PCO to a contract who, as we know, made a little debut run in at the pay-per-view that we're going to cover here in a minute.
Yeah.
And Charlie Haas made his return to wrestling and made his Impact debut and got injured, had a concussion all in the same match.
Oh no.
It's not that bad though. He went to the doctor. He released something saying it was just a freak accident. He caught Josh Alexander's knee and then the turnbuckle immediately afterwards.
Oh no.
It was just one of those freak accidents that happens in wrestling, and
see, I don't know. Is he though? Because I've been following Charlie Haas on Instagram for the past year or so, and that dude is not all there anymore.
Oh well, I have not been following him. Well, he said that he went to the doctor and it's concussion and he can still wrestle and he's taking bookings or whatever. But I did not know that he was not well off because I don't follow him like that on the social media. But good looking out, so we have at least some kind of context because I have.
My goodness, that seems wow. Okay, well, man, all right. Well, you know what?
Yeah.
Here's hoping that he figures it out. Hopefully, whatever works for him is gonna work. But
yeah, and a person who was on the pre-show, which we're not going to cover for the Impact Hard to Kill. Another new signing, Speedball Mike Bailey. I don't know if you're familiar with him. He's a Canadian wrestler.
Not.
He hasn't been able to come to the U.S. for the past 4 or 5 years due to some visa issues that happened. Mm-hmm. But I used to watch him back on PWG shit back in the day. And dude, Speedball Mike Bailey's fucking awesome. He's great, and I'm glad that he signed to Impact. I'm glad he's in the USA. I thought he was going to be an AEW guy, to be honest, because he's has that big PWG connection.
Yeah.
But it's really cool to see him here in America. Another signing for AEW debuted this week on Dynamite, Brody King. Now officially with Malachi Black. Yeah. The House of Black faction, Kings of the Black Throne, as they are known in PWG. Pretty excited about that. It's going to be some hot shit popping off with that. I'm ready to see it because Brody King's a big old boy and he can move.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I like Brody King. I like his work. I like his vibe. I think it's a great fit, and I'm excited to see where they go with it and what happens with it.
Yeah, and our boy Tony Schiavone got a contract extension, so he's going to be with AEW for sure for at least 3 to 5 more years. I'm not sure.
Nice.
Not sure exactly how long the contract was, but we love Tony Schiavone. And yeah, it was a great episode of Dynamite this week. Pretty much lots of storytelling, lots of planting seeds to move stuff forward. Like I said, we had the Brody King debut. Yeah. Wardlow beat CM Punk. Literally, it was like a Bret Hart tribute match, nostalgia. He did so many Bret Hart things, because Wardlow powerbombed him 5 or 6 times in a row.
Yeah.
And when he went for the other one, CM Punk did the Bret Hart and collapsed, and then did the roll up victory. It was good shit there. Like to see the good callbacks right there. Even though I'm not the biggest Bret Hart fan, I still like it. I still like seeing that. So it was a great episode of Dynamite. Just setting up stuff for next week. We got basically one of the big things. Britt Baker finally joined up with the elite / undisputed era.
Yeah, I was just waiting for that to happen.
I don't know why they haven't done that already. They need to pull that trigger. And then we have the episode of Rampage coming up this Friday. And are you ready to do some predictions here?
Yeah, let's do it. What do we got?
All right. So the first match on the card, and there's spoilers out there, but I did not look at spoilers. So this is all going to be pure guessing. Sean Spears facing the debuting Andrew Everett.
Okay, well, Spears for sure.
Well, I'm going with Everett because he's a debuting new wrestler, and Sean Spears is the guy you kind of come in and beat when you need to get over. Even in NXT, that was kind of his. I'm
going with Spears.
His role. All right. Well, I'm going with Andrew Everett. You're familiar with Andrew Everett, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand.
Good work.
He's been out for a while, so glad to see him back in there. A trios matchup: Chris Statlander, Layla Hirsch, and Red Velvet taking on the Bunny, Nyla Rose, and Penelope Ford.
Heels.
Yep, I'm going with the heels too. Heels all day. All right, so we only have one different pick so far. All right, Trent Beretta versus Adam Cole Bebe.
Cole.
Yeah, Cole, because he mentioned also on Dynamite how he's undefeated in singles competition. Yeah. So he's not going to lose, and it's going to be a big match, a big pay-per-view match. Not going to be a Rampage or Dynamite, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
And the main event, tag team titles on the line, the Jurassic Express taking on Johnny Hungy and Alex Reynolds of the Dark Order.
There's no way Jurassic Express loses it this quick. Although, I mean, I do see if Dark Order ever has a tag team that gets a run, it will be those guys. I will say that.
Yes, my heart says John Silver and Alex Reynolds, but yes, just like you said, they are not going to drop the straps this early. Right. Got to give it to Jurassic Express.
So it all comes down to number one, really.
We tied last week because all of our picks were the same.
The exact same, yeah.
And they all played out
all
exactly
right.
how we predicted.
Yeah.
So for the new year, we do not have a picks champion as of now. It's still tied up.
Not yet. There's still no champion crowned yet for season 4. Speaking of, though, I think that's about wraps it up, right? We can jump into the actual meat and potatoes of the show. The episode that we're here to discuss is Impact's Hard to Kill from this past weekend, 2022, and that is going to be up against an Audible. I know we had said we were going to be covering WCW Sold Out 1997, but we actually did that last year for this exact same pay-per-view, and we realized it in the moment. So we're actually doing WWF No Way Out from 2002. Now, Royal Rumble 2002 in storyline does happen before this. So we're kind of jumping one ahead, but with the rest of our schedule, the way it played out, I feel like it fits better this way anyway. So you'll just have to pretend that we've kind of seen the 02 Royal Rumble, but we're going to get to that one later when we get into Royal Rumble season. I'm stoked for these shows.
And maybe since we, have been covering some other like 97s and stuff like that, maybe we'll just kind of go talk about the 02 Royal Rumble since we already know what happens after it, and we can watch something like like you said, maybe some 1997 Royal Rumble or something like that, or a 2007 Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
I don't know why my voice got all gravelly when I went Royal Rumble. I don't know why the hell I did that. It just sounded good for the moment, I guess.
Yeah, I'm into it. It was kind of smooth and sexy. That being said, let's jump into the sexy show here. It's the current event show that everybody wants to hear about. Our take on Impact's Hard to Kill from this past weekend. The opening was really cool, except for Rosemary. She's just really kind of cheesy, and I don't know why you would have thought to pick her for like a serious interview opening promo thing. Like it just didn't, like her gimmick just doesn't lend herself to that to begin with. It'd be like kind of having the Fiend like do a joint narration thing. It just doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
No.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that whoever thought that was a good idea should be kicked in the shins. But the opening match here is Chelsea Green versus Tasha Steele versus Lady Frost versus Jordan Grace versus Alicia versus Rosemary in an Ultimate X Knockouts match. Yeah, man, what did you think about this Ultimate X Knockouts match, Wex? Give it to me.
First off, I'm going to say Tom Phillips, a.k.a. whatever his name is now, already sounds great on Impact commentary.
Hannigan? Yeah.
Tom Hannigan, yeah, that's his real name. Tom Hannigan sounds fantastic. And, dude, this match, I know they're making history and all that here, but besides from a few cool spots here or there, it was just kind of wacky, pointless. That type of match, that venue, and that is just too small for it. They couldn't even get a good wide shot of the whole thing. That really upset me most of the time. They were just literally, like, when Jim Cornette gets mad and he talks about people flipping and diving for no reason, that's what they were doing in this match. Like, you're supposed to be retrieving something from the top. Why the fuck are you just doing unnecessary flips? Like, you gotta make it make a little sense. They were cool spots. Like, don't get me wrong, I probably wouldn't try to do any of those fucking flips that they were doing, especially the Lady Frost one she did from the up really high.
Yeah. No, I fully agree.
Jordan Grace was the star of this match. Like, it really could have just been Jordan Grace versus Tasha Steele in a singles match.
Maybe. I mean, maybe.
Or somebody else. But Jordan Grace, I think, should have won this match. Alicia, I cannot take her serious in any type of, I don't know, just can't take her serious. They chant she's hardcore with the pink kendo stick and shit, and it just doesn't do it for me. Can't get down with it. And it's okay that Tasha Steele's won. I would have had her as one of my 3 people that I wanted to win, but Jordan Grace, she was the star of the match. I mean,
I agree.
I think she should have got it, but she already has the other title, so I don't think they want to, give her too much stuff at once. Right. Oversaturate it really. But man, it just really, I gave it 2.5 beers just because it was just because It was a historic thing, and there were some spots that, like, though didn't make sense, they were still impressive. And Jordan Grace was doing some shit that neither of us could ever imagine doing in our entire life. Like, she was hanging on the fucking Ultimate X with another human on her and still going. Thought that was pretty insane.
Yeah, yes.
But the match itself really was just a bunch of crazy missing big spots and shit. And production was fucking up too. Only reason 2.5 is being generous. I'm being very generous with that 2.5 beers.
I completely agree, actually. I think you're more than generous with that. I thought it was really chaotic. I thought they went just straight into the big bumps right away, like no work up to it at all, just straight into craziness. Like that, there was no, and there's also like 8 people out there instead of, I mean, it's already a lot as it is, but then you start adding tag team partners in just for no reason at all, and they stay there for the whole match. Like it just,
what are the rules, dude?
I don't know. It was bad. It was really clunky. Like this is a botchamania, like feast fest. Like, yes, of course, like, Jordan Grace pulled off the one spot, but like, there are a couple massive botches. Like they were not supposed to fall and both take ass bumps on that one spot. Like that was not supposed to happen.
No. That looked fucking painful as hell. Yeah, this is gonna be all over the next episode of Botchamania.
Yeah, for sure. It was a train wreck of a match in a bad way. The women took some gnarly bumps, and that deserved a lot of respect. I gave it 1.5 beers. I and I feel like that's fair. I feel like that's a fair rating.
I guess I respected some of those bumps a little bit more.
That's fair.
I was being a little bit more generous, but yeah, that's really what it was. We're giving you respect points.
For sure. I mean, I'm definitely giving respect to Tom too. Again, like I liked hearing him call wrestling again. I feel like he fit right back in. And then we get a big like free fall trailer, which I guess is what part of their sponsorship is. It's just to show this long ass horror thriller trailer. But the movie didn't look terrible.
No, it's made by the executive producers from Get Out, and that was pretty good. So
yeah, it'll be cool.
It looks like it could be interesting.
Yeah, it could be interesting. I can tell you right now, I 100% will not watch that movie.
Sponsorships now.
Yeah, totally. I will definitely not see it, but
I feel like they're stepping up though. They're getting the sponsorships from the movies. And also some other movie is sponsoring like this week's episode of Impact.
Yeah,
some other bullshit. Not even the same one.
I think this is, dude. Call me crazy, but I think that Impact is going to be the
new Ring of Honor.
Impact, yes, yeah, exactly. But it's going to be the up and coming. Like, I really feel like it's going to be an actual viable national third brand. Like, I think it. So like, if we're talking in the old days, like where it was WWF, WCW, ECW, I think Impact is going to have even more of a place in the market. Bigger than ECW was in that era. Like, I think it's going to be a lot closer to AEW than people think. I really do. Especially once they get back to a point where they're touring.
And they are. And speaking of that, they are going to start touring again. They already announced their tour, and they got GOD, the Gorillas of Destiny, and Jay White from the Bullet Club coming over to America for the tour. So yeah. Hey, I would love for nothing more than Impact to be that big third brand, maybe that close second brand, because I love wrestling, and Impact is a Nashville, Tennessee thing, baby.
I agree fully, and I think that Impact is kind of like, to me, the coolest part. Like, to me, it's very clear that it's WWE and AEW. Like, it's AEW is the distant second. But to me, the reason why it doesn't feel like so much third place with Impact is because, like, it's almost like we talk about the forbidden door, but to me, Impact is the door. Impact is the door. They're the ones that can send women out to go wrestle at the Royal Rumble, and they can also just have Kenny Omega be their champion. And I mean, and they're also having, talent trades with New Japan,
at Wrestle Kingdom and the Tokyo Dome,
and they had the Ring of Honor title defended here. To me, Impact is like one of the most interesting promotions going today.
I agree, and I'm so thankful that we were able to get all those free tickets and go to those tapings, because that was a really cool experience.
For sure. And I'll definitely be going back once they do start doing more in Nashville. Had a great time there.
Finally with a crowd. I'm ready for them to go to a bigger venue, maybe go back to the fairgrounds.
I'd be fine with Municipal, man. Even if they just tarped off the top, I think it would work. I think it would look good.
Yeah, they did that for some Ring of Honor tapings, and it looked fine.
And it looked great. Yeah. No, I agree. Let's keep it rolling here, though. We got Tom and D'Lo kind of running down the card. Mickey James and Deonna Purrazzo both get some promo time, and that was actually very, very good. They both delivered really good promos.
But why does Deonna Purrazzo look like she's on the verge of crying every time she cuts a promo?
I think it's because I think she has boo-boo face. I think that she, like, when I could tell when she came out that I could tell during this promo that she was going to lose the match by her face. I could just tell.
But like even when we heard her cut promos like live, it's like when she's talking, it's like her voice is cracking, like she's gonna start crying. Except for when she gets angry, then she kind of like when she puts the extra bass into her voice, I guess it prevents it from cracking. But when she's like just talking without getting angry, she just sounds like she's gonna. It always gets me every time.
Yeah, it's a little weird. I mean, I haven't honestly ever noticed that, but I now that you've said it, I'm probably not going to be able to not hear it. So thanks for that. The next match here is Steve Macklin versus Trey Mcgill for the X Division Championship. Man, listen, Macklin has zero charisma to me, but the dude's work rate has gotten significantly better than what he was in NXT. It's a hot and heavy match from the jump. The crowd is super into it. I like Trey Mcgill. I think he's a great wrestler, but it's very hard for me not to see Ricochet Jr. And I mean, they look similar. Everything
similar
about
moveset,
dude, their gear, even their tattoo placement. It's like, I mean, everything.
Ricochet was first.
Yes, of course. That's what I'm saying. He looks like Ricochet Jr. And to be honest, Ricochet's a little bit better. I mean, if we're being honest, I know we haven't been able to see it because WWE's been sitting on him. But yeah, okay. All that being said, I love Ricochet. I like this guy, but he seems like a lesser than just because he's so. I mean, change your gear, maybe change your hair. I don't know. There's just do something different. Maybe grow your hair out, change your gear.
And he's not. So like.
Yeah, I don't know. There's just
maybe should grow it out.
Their body types are very similar. He's just smaller.
Long hair might help him because Ricochet never had long hair.
Their skin tone is similar. You know what I mean?
They literally, they look very similar. I agree.
They look related. It looks like Chavo and Eddie almost. You know what I mean? Like, but yeah, I don't know, dude. That being said, these dudes work their asses off for sure. The Meteora to the outside was vicious as hell off the apron. Macklin had to be concussed after that one. But, dude, honestly, bell to bell was really great. I'm not sold on either of the personalities, totally. But the match itself was a great X Division style match. It definitely fit the moniker, and it held it well. I gave it 4 beers. I thought it was very good, above average. What do you think about Steve Macklin versus Trey Mcgill here?
Man, yeah, I thought it was a really good match. Like, a lot of really cool, innovative spots like that. Spear through the rope where he didn't actually go all the way through. He just got stuck.
Cool.
Like, I was like, holy fuck, that looks like it really hurt. Like, it did not feel good for. There's no way it felt good for Trey Mcgill. And the fucking tope where he landed into the crowd.
Yeah,
just so much sick shit. And like you said,
that Meteora off the apron. Like, his head literally bounces like a basketball off.
Oh, it literally hit the back of the metal part of the barricade.
Yeah, I know.
And like you said, dude, Macklin has improved like so much. Like,
he's a tough son of a bitch for sure.
He was honestly, I think in WWE he just got stuck in a bad gimmick with a bad tag team. Like, I think
he needs to grow his hair out too. I think he needs to do like the Mick Foley thing: grow your beard, grow your hair,
do something, because you just look like such a standard ass like creator wrestler. Yeah. And then one of the worst parts of the matches wasn't even the match. There was like 2 guys in the crowd who tried to get a USMC chant going.
Oh God.
And you could literally, it was like 2 guys doing it and nobody joined in.
What's Dallas?
And I was like, fuck, like, and he needs to get the whole military, get over that military gimmick. And he's dating Deonna Purrazzo, so maybe she should do something. That. She should be like, yo, let me give you some better gear, some better pointers to get like, I don't know. But yeah, very, very hard hitting match. I didn't quite go for 3.75. It was really good. And I like the little Spider-Man stuff for Trey Mcgill. I do like that part of his character. Little Spidey tribute. I did, like, you see what he did on the intro. He had the 3 different Trey Mcgills pointing at each other.
Yeah. And I like that. I like that Tom said, I was expecting the Rascals or something like that. I was like, God, they're just like talking about like, I don't know. I just love it. I love that idea.
Well, it's because and actually Tom Hannigan, is it Hannigan?
It's Hannah Finn, I think.
Hannah Finn. Well, he actually said in an interview, he goes, working for Impact is great. I can say whatever I want. Like, I don't have to like not mention a wrestler or a company or something they did a long time ago because we're not in WWE. Like, Impact actually acknowledges that other companies exist, which is better for storytelling. Like, you can bring back, these guys had a match, Tokyo Dome, New Japan, like 3 years ago, and this is the first time since. Like, they actually use that. They use something like that to tell the story when we get into our next match, actually, so.
Yeah, let's get into it here. This one, I believe, is close to my match of the night, if not the match of the night, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's definitely my match of the night.
It's Chris Sabin versus Jonathan Gresham for the Ring of Honor World Championship. Before we get to the match, though, we did get a little promo time from Madison Rayne and Neil Dashwood. I guess the Inspiration couldn't make it because of travel or whatever.
They got COVID.
Oh, they did get COVID. Okay, yeah.
Or they were exposed to somebody who had it or something like that.
So they're doing a match it's like a TV special. I think it's actually or like an Impact Plus special. It's like an hour-long thing on January 27th. We will not be covering it, but maybe we'll talk about it in the news or something. It was kind of weird. But anyway, I like that they brought in the ring announcer crew for the commentary and the ring announcing. I think that was a really nice touch.
Rick Abani and Bobby Cruz.
Yeah, very cool. We had Chris Sabin versus Jonathan Gresham here for the Ring of Honor World Championship, and it's a pure wrestling rules match, which I think is this is probably my favorite stipulation match of all time.
Yeah. I'm so ever since they started doing these matches, because I didn't watch the old school Ring of Honor when they did that back in the day. But watching this is awesome.
It's so good. It's just such a good. I don't know. I love it. I think it's adding those little stipulations can add drama to the match without really changing the context of a regular pro wrestling match, which is so invaluable to me. But let's get to the match itself here. From the beginning, you knew it was going to be all about technique because of the way they laid the match rules out and the way Sabin and Gresham kind of both work their strong suits. I mean, technique I knew it was going to go that way, and I absolutely loved the match itself. I thought it was perfectly done. I thought Sabin sold like $1 million. He's sold better in this match than I've seen him sell in the past few months or so. It just went a long way. It was so good. It was so smooth. The guys had a ton of natural chemistry together. Some really, really smart false finishes that worked within the rules. I absolutely loved it, man. I thought it was a great actual finish too. Super technical. I went 4.5 beers on this one, man. 4.5 beers.
Dude, this match literally, we'll say it match of the night for sure for me. I don't know if anything could possibly even rate higher than this. And just like you said, we knew it was going to be technical from the get-go, and that's literally one of the lines I have is just so fucking technical. Just so many switches, reversals, counters, roll-ups, dude, I mean, if obviously you guys are pro wrestling fans, you've seen Sabin and Gresham wrestle before, and they really put on a fucking banger here. And the storytelling, like I was mentioning earlier, they reference old stuff. The reason that Sabin even gets this title shot is because 3 years ago he beat Jay Lethal, and that earned him a title shot. And he never got his title shot.
Wow.
And so they kind of sold that on commentary. 3 years in the making, and dude, so much sick shit that twisting DDT thing that Sabin pulled off, insane, so smooth and I was like, what? Because I said, what a DDT, and I was like, he did a what?
Yeah,
I had to go back and be like, he DDT'd him. Yeah, dude. Pure rules are fantastic. Just dude, so much drama with the rope breaks, and the one part where Sabin was trying to get to the rope, but then Gresham was pulling his hand back, but then basically forced him to make the break. Just, dude, you have to be a smart wrestler. What?
Great drama.
Dude, exactly. I don't think any wrestler can. You have to be you have to be fucking a very good wrestler, a smart wrestler to be able to do matches like this to make it work.
I totally agree. I agree.
I don't think the Big Show and Kane could have a match like this. It would never work.
Definitely not. No, definitely not. I mean, these guys killed it.
Yeah, and I went 4.75, almost went 5 beers. I thought this was really good.
Wow.
This is what probably the match that I was the most looking forward to on the card was this, and it delivered. And
it was great.
And some of the other stuff on the card, I didn't know what to expect, and we'll get to these next matches. Some good shit, some weird shit.
Some good, some weird, some bad, some terrible, but some actually awesome. Let's keep it rolling here. We get Tasha Steele cutting a really awkward promo in the back. And then we get a package for Josh Alexander and Jonah Rock. And the package was great. The match starts off, and it's hard-hitting, to say the least. It's definitely more of a brawl than I expected. But honestly, I guess when you realize you're following a pure rules match, it made more sense to me for it to be more brutal and more hard-hitting. And it worked, I think. I think Alexander sold super well. Jonah looked like an absolute powerhouse. The feed dropped in the middle of the match for a relatively high point, and if that's not TNA, I don't know what is. So they're still got that TNA curse in there. Maybe Jeff Jarrett just walked in the back to say hello or something, and that's what happened. I'm not sure. The dive over the 100%. Guardrail. The dive over the guardrail was awesome. If you want to get real granular here, Yeah, I mean, it was a great match. I enjoyed it. It wasn't as good as the previous match, but it was definitely above average match, and a really good showing for both guys. I was pleasantly surprised. I expected more of a wrestling match, and I got more of a brawl, but that's okay. I'm going to go 4 beers dead in the middle. So it was pretty good. Solid half a beer better with the pure rules, but it was definitely a 4-beer match, above average for sure. What do you think about Jonah Rock versus Josh Alexander here?
I thought it was great. Very good contrast of styles. Like it was a brawl, but it was like brawls with lots of big power moves.
Yes. Yeah.
And they still, but then Josh Alexander still added some submission stuff in there. So
of course, yeah. But it was more like UFC style. It wasn't like Dean Malenko style subs. You know what I mean? It felt more combat. You know what I mean?
I mean, and that's really the Josh Alexander style. And there's so much little small things in the match, like Jonah's variation of the torture rack, like where he's doing it vertical or horizontally with you instead of parallel, or would that be parallel?
Yeah, parallel.
Basically, he's going the other way than you normally go. He's going to go straight down the middle instead of over the shoulders the Lex Luger way. Thought that was fucking sick, and I loved how when he was beating the shit out of Josh Alexander, he was just grabbing him by his headgear and just pulling him around and shit.
Yeah.
Just little subtle things like that. And
smart.
Just lots of big, brutal just hits. Just like very stiff shots.
Big, meaty men slapping meat.
Yeah, dude. Slapping the fuck and just slapping, tweaking. I went 4 beers also. I thought it was really good. It was my second match of the night.
Yeah, for sure. I don't think so. It was very good. Honestly, I thought the show was really good in general.
The 3-way later. It's got a close rating. Very close rating.
Close rating. It's a close rating for sure. Let's get into the next package here. We get a promo from Eddie Edwards and the rest of the baby faces for their hardcore war. Zero interest in this, but I'm going to get through it.
Man.
Luckily, on Fight, there is a way to watch it at time and a half speed. So I watched this one a little bit faster than the other ones because I just didn't give a shit about it, to be honest with you. I mean, it's kind of like, okay, so the idea of the match is that it's kind of like War Games except without the cage.
And Diener, not 2 rings, which you need for 10 people.
Oh, 100%. Yes, it got so overcrowded. I'll get to that, though. Diener is another one that with just zero charisma. Diener and Macklin, I just feel like they got to figure it out. It's just not for me. There's some big bumps and spots, and it's a spectacle match. And that was the spectacle spots where they were still having entrance was cool. But once they were all in there, it got real sloppy and crazy. Rhino's kind of moving around like an old man, checking like the apples at a grocery store. You know what I mean? He's just kind of shuffling with his shoulders down. You know what I'm talking about? I don't know. I didn't hate it. It served its purpose. It was pretty cheese though. The kendo stick on fire was basically like a kid's birthday candle. He just like lit the little like fabric tip and oh God, it was terrible. It was terrible. I don't know. By the time they got the barbed wire out, I'm totally over it, and it was already just like played out. I decided to be generous and give this 2.75. It's almost average for me, but I don't know. It's just this is not my style. Where were you at on this hardcore war?
I went right down the middle on it, just because they bled a lot, put in a lot of work, but it was literally just fucking chaos. And that's the reason War Games works, because 2 rings, the cage, 10 people. 1 ring with 10 people just doesn't fucking work. And like you said, it was just cheese. Like Willie Mack came out with a literally axe handle. He came out with an axe handle. Oh. Carl Anderson used a fucking golf club. Like someone threw powder in someone's fucking eyes. Like, and the cheesy like I said, the worst flaming. That's the worst flaming spot in a match ever. Like it wasn't even when I've seen botches where they can't get the shit lit, that's better than this, because it was just like a little flame. It was like the exploding death match in AEW.
Yeah.
That, like, if you want to compare, like, for spots, like, it just wasn't. Some crazy 450s. The bar, like you said, by the time the barbed wire board got out, I was like, more? Are you fucking kidding me? Like, it's not going to end now?
Yeah,
it was just a little bit too much. So, yeah, Rhino, old Shuffle Man got the win. It was just, right in the middle, just because it was entertaining, but like, what does this even mean? Like, where do they go from here? Yeah. And why are the Good Brothers teaming with Violent by Design?
I think it was a blow off. I mean, the Violent by Design, I get what was happening. It's just, I don't know. It was the good news is all these guys can kind of scramble off and go into something different, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, the best part of all this, I think, was seeing OGK and PCO and Vincent kind of.
Oh yeah, the ending angle was very cool because basically, so it's like OGK forming. Is it just they're gonna be the Kingdom again? Because remember, Vincent was in like the new Kingdom. Yes. And then so they're just gonna be a big Kingdom now with PCO.
They're
PCO?
like, but it's like they said. Tom said it. It's like is this the Modern Kingdom or something, or like the Advanced Kingdom or something like that? It was like because PCO is like a cyborg.
In the faction now?
I think so. Yeah.
Dude, that's a heavy faction.
No, for sure. That's dope. Like, I think that's, and I mean, I love that. I think OGK, they need to stick together as a tag team. I think that Bennett and Taven have both had great careers or whatever, but like, to me, this is their Motor City Machine Guns moment where like, Shelley and Saban had a great run as singles, but when they got together, they had a solid like 5-6 year run as an amazing tag team. And that's a solid way to have
a faction. Like you got the tag team.
Yes.
You got your tag team. You got PCO, like your heavyweight.
You got two singles guys.
And then you got your mid-card singles guy.
Yep. I agree. I think it's a good way to do it. I think the faction, again, I'm excited about Impact's future, man. I think that the booking was really good here for the most part and the show. And we'll let's just keep it rolling here. We get a package for the triple threat with Moose, Cardona, and Morrissey. It was decent. It wasn't great. The production kind of lacked on this one, which is kind of sad, but it was what it was. The match here is Morrissey versus Matt Cardona versus Moose for the Impact World Championship. I can definitely say this, man. Impact kind of has a formula. It starts its matches off hot and then uses like the peaks and valleys formula, and it works. The three-way spots were all very cool. And none of these dudes are small, too. You know what I mean? Like, even Cardona is like 6'3", 250. Like, he's not a small guy.
These are McMahon guys,
Yeah, absolutely. But the athletic ability was definitely there from all three guys. I mean, Morrissey is a gas station, but it's very clear that he has definitely improved. Like, I mean, he's significantly better in the ring now than he was when he was
because he actually has experience. Like, he was green as fuck when he came out of NXT. Like,
for sure. Yeah. Even Chelsea Green, she was better in this match than she was in the whole opener. Gosh, I mean, she had tons of missed spots in that opening match. My goodness.
I don't think that was her fault. I think that was the other lady's fault, too. It's like Lena.
Oh, totally.
It takes two to tango.
It's a hodgepodge, man. It's just, yeah. I mean, dude, I love Chelsea Green. I'm not shitting on her. I think she's great. I think she's one of the at least top 15 women in wrestling, period. But, it was just a hodgepodge. But in this match, I think they did a really great job. It was a very WWE match in the best kind of way. Morrissey is 100% going to get another shot at the E at some point. I definitely believe that. Either way, man, I thought the match was very good. Great tempo, great pacing, great false finishes, too. Very good match. Great way to kind of establish your brand and keep what you're trying to build with Impact established. This felt like a main event guy. It felt like a main event match from all three main event guys. That's what it felt like, and that's what it should feel like. 4 3/4 beers, almost 5 beers on this one. I think this one actually outranked my Saban match by a quarter of a beer. Yeah, so to me, this is match of the night. Great match, man. Championship match. I mean, the Moose Cardona stuff was phenomenal, and then Morrissey actually pulling his weight and surprising me even with his work rate. Yeah, definitely 4.75 for me. Where are you at on this triple threat Impact World Championship match?
And it was after I checked my ratings, it is my second match of the night because that the Ring of Honor title match I think was the match of the night. But this is really close, 4.5. I'm right there behind it, just by a little. And dude, besides Moose missing a big cross body at the beginning of the match, where he just like ate shit pretty much, like he hardly hit Cardona. It's like that woke him up, I guess, and they just were fucking on point from there. And just like you said, they kind of work that WWE style triple threat where one guy will kind of lay out and they'll like kind of do the spots, and then all three will come in and do some of the big stuff. Like, dude, that Tower of Power bomb
thing,
dude, that was fucking crazy.
Sick, yeah, it was sick.
All three of those dudes are huge as fuck, and they just looked too big for that arena.
No, I agree.
I agree,
yeah.
All three of those dudes have star power written all over them. And Moose, he said AEW and WWE have been trying to get him offered him, but he's like, nah, I'm sticking with Impact.
Yeah, I think is great. Too. He's the guy. He's making good money. Why not? Why leave? What are you? I know.
And finally, after the past year of him building up to being the TNA champion, and now actually finally being the Impact World Champion and getting a nice reign, and like I said, his charisma, his work rate has done nothing but got better in the past ever since he's been at Impact. Honestly,
yep, I agree.
his physique, everything. Like, dude, like you said, these are 3 fucking stars. They got star written all over them. They could work for any company and be main event guys.
Agreed.
Honestly,
agreed.
But
fully.
They had me. I thought Cardona was going to win a few times.
I did too.
I was like, dude, he's going to get it. And that's good when a match can really, exactly, when they can really make you suspend your disbelief and be fooled. Like, I think he's going to win. Like, WWE hardly ever does that, but they did it really good in this match.
They did a great job. I think they did a great job here for sure. And then we got a package for Purrazzo and James, and they had the unfortunate circumstance of following this match. That's all because to be honest with you, man, okay, 2 things that really hurt this match to me. Number 1, that dumb ass Texas death match gimmick. That hurt. It's the finish is always flat. It's always flat. And then the fact that they had to follow these guys. I mean, it was just.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Mickie James's chaps, but I guess I'll talk about that when it gets to me.
No, the chaps are hot, dude. Anyway, I don't know. I get that there's a deeper storyline in the match here than most of the rest of the card, at least. And both of the ladies were phenomenal. But the match did feel a little rushed, even though they had a ton of time, which is kind of strange. It just felt like the tempo they were just rushing it a little bit. Yeah, I mean, okay. So Mickie wrestling in the chaps did throw me off a little bit, but it doesn't really matter. The brutality was there enough to make it work. I thought Mickey's color was actually a nice touch. The crowd was very, very, very into it, and the match was very good. There were a couple awkward bumps, and of course the coochie hold. But overall, I don't know. Overall, it's a great show from start to finish. I wouldn't have put this match on last. I would have swapped this. Okay, this is what I would have done. I would have put this match where the X Division match was. I would have put the X Division match where the triple threat was, and had the triple threat close the show. I think that's how it should have worked out. But overall, it's a really good show. I mean, I still gave this match 3.5 beers. It was above average. It was a good match. It just, honestly, if this had been in a different spot in the card, it probably would have got a higher rating. But I was kind of drained after that triple threat. It took a lot out of me. I mean, it was a really good match. So, yeah, I mean, 3.5 beers for me. Where are you at on this actual main event for the Knockouts Championship?
So, like you said, the Texas Deathmatch stipulation was just fucking ridiculous. It didn't even need to be in here because it suffered not only from its placement on the card. Like, I agree with everything that you said. This should have been an opener. It could have
I don't know about opener, but yeah.
Wait, was the X Division match not the opener?
The Ultimate X was the
Ultimate X. Was that the opener?
Yeah, that was the opener. I was talking about the Trey Mcgill.
Trey Mcgill, yeah. Actually, that's a good idea. Yeah. But, dude, I don't know. If I was just expecting more from this and the crowd, I feel like they were a little worn out too because at the first half of this match, like, it was pretty dead. Oh, and I think Earl Hebner botched it. I mean, not Earl Hebner, fucking Dave Hebner. Like, I think botched a 3 count like early. Like, he counted 3 and it wasn't
Ryan
Hebner. Who did I say? Dave Earl? God. Oh, one of the fucking Hebners, young Sweatband Hebner.
Sweatband Hebner?
Yeah,
I love it. I love it. Yeah.
I think he botched it really early, though. And just, I don't know. It just, like you said, I think I was just kind of worn out because there was so much other, like, hardcore type stipulations throughout this entire show. And after I just saw, like, after the hardcore war, like what the fuck does any of this, what does any of these moves mean after I just saw, like, a bunch of fucking, like, crazy shit?
Yeah.
Like, I know it's a different match, but I just saw some insane shit. This is the main event. The main event's supposed to, just be the banger.
Yeah.
Really suffered from the spot, the stipulation. And if you want to get down to it, that women's match on Rampage like a couple weeks ago, the trios match, that was a better women's hardcore style match with blood and gnarly shit than this was.
Oh, I fully agree.
And the one on Rampage was Rampage. I wasn't expecting it to be that good. It was just like, oh shit, this is a fucking good match. And this was one that I had more expectations for. So I only gave it 3 beers, right in the middle. It suffered from, like, just so many different things. It probably could have got 4 to 4.5 if it was, paced and placed properly.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I mean, I thought overall, though, the show's it's a 4 to 4.5 year show, which is very, very good.
Way above average show.
Especially for a modern show, significantly better than day one. I mean, it's definitely up there. I mean, AEW has the upper hand on everything pay-per-view related right now. They're just they do put on the absolute best pay-per-views, period. But yeah, I mean, this is better than the Ring of Honor show that we covered recently. I think this is better than the Day One. But yeah, man, I thought it was overall a good thing. I'm excited to cover more Impact in the future. But let's move into our Wayback Machine. We're going back 20 years to January of 2002. It's No
so
Way
old.
Out.
20 years, jeez.
Bro, do you want to hear something crazy?
What?
I was about to go into my senior year in high school. That's what's crazy. Yeah.
Want to hear something crazy?
Yes.
I was in the 6th grade when this came out.
My guy. I'm sure there's some people listening to this that were like, I was born. I was like, tying my shoes.
Or I was just a little tickle in my pappy's sack.
Something like that. Speaking of tickles and pappy sacks, the way the show opens here is the NWO. There's no opening package that they were kind of known for, especially around this time. There's no production thing. It's just a live crowd and JR with the intro. And then, the way God intended, somebody's music hits, the crowd goes wild, and it's the NWO making their debut.
And did you think about this, which I didn't until I started watching it, No Way Out NWO?
No, yeah.
Like, why didn't they do that to the branding more?
They did. They had some posters that did that.
Oh, okay.
From Vince's chair where he turned around with the NWO and it would like animate No Way Out.
Oh, that's good stuff right there.
Yeah. It was good stuff for sure. It was good stuff. Yeah. So then we get to the actual promo here. Nash tries to open up the little promo thing and he gets blasted with what chance? Because that's this era.
Oh, this is sure. What era? Prime what era?
Yeah, prime what era? And I felt like the promo was a miss. I think whoever did the writing here, this promo tanked the NWO right off the bat. It's like they are so over. They're all 3 stars, and you're trying to do this sarcastic, oh, gee golly, we really mean it. We're going to be good guys. And it's like, no, that's not what people want you to be heels right now. And they're going to cheer you anyway. Like, that's what they want you to do. You should have been the heels. Like, I don't know. It just felt like whoever wrote these promos was a miss. It was not that the guys didn't perform it well. They did. It's just bad writing, in my opinion. I didn't care for the promo. What do you think about this opening NWO, especially for their first time back on TV? And this is what the promo they cut? Come on.
Yeah, NWO WWEF was never worked, and I don't know who was making the final decisions. Probably Vince McMahon, to be honest.
Oh, Vince for sure.
Oh, I want you guys to do this. It's a great idea.
Bruce. Yep.
Oh, this is still Bruce. Yeah, Bruce. Oh yeah, Bruce and Vince. They're definitely doing some bullshit here. They should have just came out. Scott Hall just only should have said "Ayo," and that's about it. And then Hogan should have rambled about whatever the fuck how he's going to beat everybody's ass. Like, it didn't need to be scripted. It needed to be a rambling Hogan promo and Nash saying some cool shit.
Yeah.
What it should have been.
Yeah, I agree. I fully agree.
No 2 sweets. They didn't go nothing cool.
Nothing. No 4 lives. It was nothing cool at all. Nothing cool at all. It's a weird promo and it's a bad call. The opening match here is a tag team turmoil match. It's Scotty 2 Hottie and Albert versus Christian and Lance Storm versus the Hardys versus the Dudleys versus Billy and Chuck versus the APA. I feel like 2002 was the year of like opening with a like really fast-paced tag team match. Like that year, it just felt like that was a thing. Like towards the end of 2001, it's like random tag teams, but all the guys can kind of work, and it's real fast-paced, and it's like we're just going to get the crowd super hype, like right off the bat.
Like 96, 97 WCW doing the cruiserweight matches first.
Yes. It was very hot excitement, very crowd-pleasing moves. Not a bad formula. It was a spectacle, like first thing out of the gate to get the excitement up. There's some quick eliminations until the match kind of settled in a little bit with the Hardys and Dudleys, but even that didn't last very long. And of course, that part of the match was great, even though again it was pretty quick. Everybody kind of got their stuff in. It was fast, but all solid spots, and it's all star-studded. So it was above average for sure, slightly, but above average. 3.25 beers. That's where I'm at on it. I mean, everybody got their moves in. It was fast paced without feeling too rushed, and you got to see all the stuff you wanted to see. You got to see the worm, you got to see a 3D, you got to see a swanton, you got to see a famouser, you got to see JBL knock somebody's head off with a clothesline. You got to see all the things, That's where I'm at with it. What do you think about this opener?
Hey, I thought it was great. dude, especially love Christian's entrance that he was doing at this time with the sparks and shit.
Yeah,
that was his best one he ever did.
I always stole it on Creator Wrestler. That was always mine.
Hell yeah. And it's like Randy Orton stole it too, pretty much.
Yeah, straight up.
But the fucking hip hop hippo, dude, JR and King are all-time gold. This is like the best era of King and JR. They are on it in this whole pay-per-view. And dude, like JR's cigar store Indian line about Billy and about Chuck.
Oh god!
And then they were arguing about if his hair was real or not. Like,
oh god! It's
and
so
JR
good.
said was talking about his pigtails, and the King was like, "Oh, you ever have any pigtails like that back in the day?" He goes, "Nope." He goes, "In the '60s, I went and got my hair cut once a week, every Saturday." He's like, "Whether I needed it or not." I was like, "Geez, these guys are fucking killing it." And we got a Lita Rana. We got a lot of good stuff in this match. Like you said, all the big moves. We got the Cesaro swing before the Cesaro swing.
Yeah, well, I think
it was great. It was, 2002. This is like, I was loving WWF at this point. And all these wrestlers were great. Hype. I went 3.5 beers. Fantastic little match right there. I love the worm.
3 1/4, 3.5. I could say 3.5 too. That's fair. I'm into that. That sounds right. After the match, we get Ric Flair and the Undertaker having a nice little promo exchange, and then we get a recap of RVD and Gold Dust. And then we have the actual match here. It's RVD and Gold Dust, and the match is a hot start. RVD is like totally the bridge between the '90s style and the current style. Like he is the stopgap between them, I think. And honestly, Dustin is kind of like peak physical condition here. Like as far as like his physical physique, like he looked really good here, very solid. Gold Dust worked like really stiff. And did a really good job in that heel role. You know, normally before he was like a much more flamboyant heel, but at this point he was pretty physical. And I thought there weren't a lot of matches like this from Gold Dust in this era because it's right before he went and got like weird with his like Tourette's and all that. You know what I mean?
Oh God, I remember that shit. God damn
this is right before that, but I thought this was a really good. Like he was an aggressive. No bullshit heel, and I thought this was good. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I liked it a lot. I was pleasantly surprised by it. I also gave this one 3.5 beers. I thought it was very good. It wasn't a show stealer, but it was better than I expected it to be. 3.5 beers for me. Where are you at on Gold Dust versus RVD?
But then after watching Dustin wrestle a great match with Sammy Guevara last week on Dynamite or Rampage, whatever fucking episode it was.
Killer match, by the way. Amazing match.
Like him, his young, fucked up, bloated self when he was still in good shape, he could fucking still go back then too. I don't remember him having good matches in 2002 because all I remember is the weird shit. Yeah. And then I remember him with Booker T, and that was gold. Yeah. I can't wait till we get to cover that shit.
That's like 04, but yeah.
Still really awesome though. And I have a note similar to what you said. I was like, this is like matches not quite that modern style, but it's like halfway there.
Yeah.
It's kind of like
RVD is the gap. RVD is the gap between like Shawn Michaels and Kenny Omega. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
dude, 100%. I agree with that right there. And Gold Dust still did some really innovative moves, like that catapult, like springboard back into like the backbreaker on his knees.
Yeah,
that was really. I don't think I've ever really seen him do
very
that.
Cool.
That's a fucking cool move. Like other people should utilize that in their moveset. I went 3.5 also on this match. I was pleasantly surprised. It was a good match. I was having a good time watching it. I enjoyed myself.
Enjoyed yourself for sure. I'm going to do that as well a little bit later, but let's keep it rolling here. We got a little segment with Austin and the NWO to kind of help build some tension. It's now an infamous segment where he hands him the beers and he just throws them over his shoulder and walks past. Dude, it's kind of crazy how like almost all of the WWE, WWF, NWO segments that are memorable that you remember happened all in this one night. Like all of them.
I was surprised, like all of them. I was like, I thought this was on like a Raw or this was on like a
it was kind of crazy, and we're gonna get to more of them. But this one was the first one, and it was cool. I thought it was a really good way to build tension with Austin. And if I'm trying to not think about what I know happens later, I'm like, okay, this is at least better than their original promo that they opened with. You know what I mean? Like this is at least better. Like this whole exchange. Yeah, it's really good. I thought it was great. I thought it was really well done. The next match here is really weird. It's Booker T and Test versus Taz and Spike Dudley. And by the way, it's for the WWF tag team titles. What?
And Taz and Spike are the tag team champions.
Bro, and at this and look at okay, listen to this. I want you to listen to this. This blew my mind. You have Scotty 2 Hotty and Albert. You have Edge and Christian on the roster. You have the Hardys on the roster. You have the Dudleys on the roster. You have a newly formed Billy and Chuck on the roster, and the APA. And your tag team champions right now are Taz and Spike Dudley. What are you doing? What are you doing? Why? I completely what? Why?
Because they're one of those teams. The team that won the tag team turmoil,
and you want the WrestleMania moment. Yeah, I get it. Still though, do you? Okay,
I don't remember Taz and Spike being tag team champions at all. And that's like, if you want to talk about WWE having random thrown together tag teams as the champions, this is the fucking epitome of that. Like,
this is straight up like random when you hit the blue button on No Mercy, and it just like plugs it in like the random guys. Like this,
and
is
this is No Mercy era, like 100%.
Oh, 100%. This is it, straight up. Straight up, dude. Yeah. This is like this is the year after, so this is probably like SmackDown, Here Comes Shut Your Mouth. Or Just Bring It or something like that.
Just Bring It the second. Or maybe just the first SmackDown game or the second one, something like that. Because SmackDown was after No Mercy, right?
SmackDown 3, Know Your Role. It was
Know Your Role. Yep.
That's what it was, yeah. That was a good one. Oh, God. We got to have an episode where we just talk about wrestling games.
Like, literally a year after this, Taz has done wrestling, and like, period.
Yeah.
Like, Taz had such a brief run actually wrestling in WWF.
But then he became arguably one of the best commentators of all time. I will put him up there. Dude, the top 10 at least.
Up with his gear when he was in WWF.
I don't know. He was atrocious. His soul was dead. He said it already.
Like singlet gear to like orange track pants and like weird fucking vest. It's dumb.
It is weird. It's very weird. The match. Listen. Okay, let's get into the match. Let's just talk about it. Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, to me, I know I said let's talk about the match, but the match, there's not really much meat on the bone here. It felt really weird. It felt very clunky. The King was on fire with his one-liners, though.
Dude, commentary was the best made this match.
Thing. Oh, dude, the King, dude. JR was like, he's talking about like how big, like Booker T and Test were compared to Taz and Spike Dudley, and JR was like, well, King, you can't judge a book by its cover. And King immediately, like in no time lapse. Well, you can't judge a book by its cover. Well, what if the pages are stuck together? Oh
no, he goes, you can't judge the proverbial book by its cover. And he's like, well, what if the pages are sticking together? He goes, well, that's your book.
Oh, dude, I spit my beer out. I spit my beer out. It was so good, dude.
They were fantastic.
God. Match itself was a hodgepodge, though. Bound to happen at some point. This is the only match on the card that I rated under 3 beers, and it's still 2.5 beers. It's still 2.5 beers. 2.5. Yeah.
Straight up. Spike Dudley gets fucked up, and then there's a Taz mission at the end. That's pretty much what happens.
Yep. And honestly,
and a spinner-rooney. Yeah. You get a spinner-rooney.
Yeah. We got a solid spinner and a really good scissor kick too.
Oh yeah, very good.
Let's keep it rolling here. We get The Rock. He gets his promo time with Coach on The Undertaker. Obviously gold. I mean, obviously. The dude I don't think he ever opened his mouth anytime past like 99 where he wasn't absolutely goated. But let's just keep it rolling here. Edge versus William Regal. Brass knuckles on a pole match. Okay. The match was really good, but the gimmick got in the way again, as it normally does in matches like this. Why not put it on a ladder? Why not put it at the top of the stage and you guys could fight up the ramp or something like that? I don't know. Just on a pole just never works out because there's only so many times that the babyface, in this case Edge, can like get up on the top turnbuckle and literally like smack it 5 times. Like it's easy for you to easily get that down at this point, and you're just like tossing that around waiting for Regal to get you, and it just takes me out of it completely. It made me also really miss what the IC title used to be. You know what I mean? Like these guys, again, man, great work. It was very well worked for a quote unquote pole match. It was good, but it certainly wasn't great. The apron botch was rough. The Hurricane Rana powerbomb miss was bad, but I still put it right in the middle. I gave it 3 beers, dead center. It was average. It should have been better, but it was average. 3 beers for me. Where are you at on it?
I went a little bit higher than that, and honestly, I think this is the best on a pole match ever.
I don't know.
The best on a pole match I've ever seen. I've never really seen that many good ones. And the only
Cactus Jack versus Vader coal miner's glove match in WCW.
Was that on a pole?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I need to go back and watch that. Good looking out. I'll check that one out. But this is pretty good too. And the main reason is because the booking, the way it ended, I thought it was just fucking brilliant. Just
well booked.
Yeah, it was amazing. They're like Edge is fighting the whole time to get to the pole, and William Regal never really tries to go for the brass knuckles. He just stops Edge from doing it, and he's great match like you said. If it's William Regal and Edge, the work rate's going to be fantastic. The only botch they had was that the power bomb apron thing, and I love how JR is like he put him for a power bomb, and it looks like Edge tried to kick out. He's like, King's like, well, I don't know who got the worst of that. I love how King, he would just be the one just to bring it back, be like, they both fucked each other up, huh? Without saying that, like he really just King was really good at this point.
Oh,
like,
for sure.
This is the best in their career, but William Regal pulling the knucks out of his trunks, hitting him, and then just brilliant right there. I went 3.75. Really the booking
3.75. My goodness.
Yes, I really enjoyed this because I don't know if I'm much a William Regal mark, and I'm learning that I am, but this is great, fucking great shit right here. The booking. If it would have been anything else, like Edge got it down and hit him, and then Edge got a little color. It all worked for me. I really like that one. 3.75, and I'm not taking it back.
I mean, you don't have to take it back. It's just a bad take. It wasn't that good, but it is what it is. Let's keep it rolling here. We get a Kurt Angle promo on Triple H. It was decent, but not necessarily great. The production package for The Rock and Taker, however, was very good. It was very well done, very well put together.
Better than the match.
And it's okay. 02 is probably one of the more underrated years of WWE. Everyone talks about the Attitude Era, and then they just go straight to the Ruthless Aggression Era, and you kind of skip like 3 or 4 years there. And I think that this 02 to 04, I think those 2 years are gravely underrated. I mean, just like vastly, vastly underrated. Prime example here is that this is a 7-match card, and match number 5 on your card is The Undertaker versus The Rock. I just want that to sink in. Like that's insane. Like that's a main event anywhere at any point in the history of professional wrestling. That's a main event anywhere, right? Except for an 02, because it's in the middle of the card. Because you're going to have Kurt Angle and Triple H after that, and you're going to have Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Chris Jericho. So it's just crazy.
Think about those last 3 matches on the card. Those could be flipped around, interchanged in any way.
In any way, yes. At any point in
and with any
era.
of the wrestlers like Austin, Kurt, Triple H, like you could switch.
All of these matches are dream matches. Yeah. All of them. All of these matches are dream matches. That's crazy. Like 02 is underrated. I'm just trying to brag on 02 a little bit, and let's get into the match here. It's great. I mean, the match is phenomenal from front to back. Great storyline. Solid build up. The work rate was top tier. I mean, even all the Gaga was perfectly timed. Like the timing of. Do you have any idea how hard it is to have 2 people interfere at that level with the timing to make it fluid so it doesn't take you out of it, to where no one's waiting for anything. There's never a moment where someone looks stupid because they were waiting around for something to happen. It was perfectly done. Like that is really hard to do. Like perfect timing, great match. Great match. 5 beers. Loved it. Phenomenal match. Where are you at on The Undertaker versus The Rock here?
I did not love it, and I did not think it was phenomenal.
What?
It was good, but I don't know if it was the placement on the card and how everything was really hyped, but just like it kind of started kind of slow to me, and it was just they brawled around the ring, and it's just I think it's suffering from the hypeness from other stuff. I don't know. I just wasn't as into it.
Loved it.
But it's not like it was bad. The crowd was going fucking nuts the entire time. Like I understand, and like I agree. The run-ins, the interference, it was timed in perfect, and everything was very smooth and fluid. It's just I wasn't into this brawl. I don't know. I did not like 02 Undertaker.
I didn't really feel like it was a brawl at all, actually. I mean, a little fighting outside, but for the most part, it was like in the ring, and they did. I mean, they weren't like throwing wrist locks out there, but it wasn't like a hardcore. I mean,
it did
match.
pick up towards the end, and like they were like going back and forth when you had like the reverser from the People's Elbow on the big choke slam spot and everything. And then I think it's funny how he did the choke slam, and then JR said he was going for the ride, but wouldn't that be the last ride? Kind of confused me there. I was like, JR,
the last ride's when you got to give him the wedgie too. But
yeah, I know.
The regular power bomb.
But he said the ride. You know, like just when you say the rack, you mean the torture rack. I mean, thought he was just, doing the short. Oh, he's going for the ride. Well, this ain't 22 yet, buddy. You got to get the moves right. But
I don't know.
But maybe whatever.
For a ride, I don't know.
Still,
I feel like it says that.
He still tried to get put over Booger Red that never got over. He still tried to call Undertaker Booger Red, and I was like, nah. But I mean, I went 3.5 beers. It was above average.
3.5.
Rocking Undertaker.
My goodness.
I just wasn't into it.
My goodness. Well, you know what? I might be able to give you a trade back on that one. Let's keep it rolling here. We get Mr. Perfect at WWF New York, which I thought was hilarious. I loved it. I thought it was super funny.
Another bad WWF New York promo, and it wasn't.
I don't think it was bad.
No, it wasn't bad. It was just the WWF New York. Just I don't know. It's just the whole vibe of it is just cheesy. Like, why is he not the pay-per-view? He's at WWF New York.
I know we had like the plane ride from hell, and that's kind of what happened to Mr. Perfect's career here. But I really thought that this Mr. Perfect gimmick could have worked in this time with him just being super cocky instead of like preppy Mr. Perfect, or him just being like, I am the best, I am perfect, look at me, I am a god. Like that could have totally worked, especially in that early 2000s era. And I really wish that we had gotten a longer run with him.
He's like, see the front, see the back.
Yeah,
he said not too big. He said not too big, not too much.
Yeah. I loved it. R.I.P. Kurt Hennig, man, one of the goats for sure. Let's go right into another Kurt that's also a goat. It's Kurt Angle versus Triple H. Stephanie McMahon is a special guest referee. The story is deep here. I feel like everyone remembers this storyline for a reason. Like it was very good. This is good. This is good sports entertainment. This is a really good storyline.
Yeah, it's the only time that Triple H and Stephanie had a feud ever.
Yeah, and it's great, and it's really well done. Triple H has never, ever in his career been more over as a babyface than he was right here.
Never looked better either.
Never looked better either. Thank you to, whatever it was he was using at the time. It's a cosmetic business.
Some of that Morrissey stuff. That Diesel.
Some of that BP special. Yeah, man, the bell to bell was phenomenal. The Gaga, again, was perfect. I thought the interference was really well done. And it's not me being old and nostalgic, but WWF just did WWE better back then. Like they did sports entertainment better back then. It was too good. It was too smooth. It was really well done. Great sports entertainment match. The heel gets the win. Awesome. 5 beers, and back-to-back 5 beers for me.
I did not go quite 5 beers. I went 4.5, almost 5 beers. And like you said, the Stephanie McMahon bullshit with the Tim White bullshit, like all the ref interference stuff just heighten the drama so much because every time one guy would like really get the advantage, they'd fuck the ref up. Yeah. And Tim White, like he was great. You remember when he had the little promos where he was like trying to commit suicide?
Yeah.
I don't know why. Like I thought that's just fucking hilarious to think about. Every time I see Tim White, I think about the suicide promos. But
all that stuff's gone now. Because it's definitely not PC.
Oh, that was funny. That's like not racist or weird. It's just,
yeah, I know, but it's kind of like making light of suicide, though.
Yeah, I get it. I understand why they took it off. But, dude, Kurt Angle just so smooth. Like JR said, he goes, I think Kurt Angle is the king of the German suplex. And I might agree. They say Brock Lesnar is, but Kurt Angle's the OG. He's the original Suplex City.
I mean, to give the devil his due.
Steiner?
No, the best Germans? It's got to be Benoit, man. It's got to be Benoit.
I actually saw a meme.
Got to be Benoit.
It was like Benoit and like Kurt Angle was like, who has the best German? I'm like, yep, definitely got to give the devil his due. Benoit.
Yeah, I mean,
but modern day, I do enjoy Pax deadlift German. That's its
yeah. Or Cesaro.
Yeah. Anybody can do a deadlift German. You're just a fucking nut strong. But dude, back to the match. Triple H just. Besides a few little sloppy things at the beginning where I think Stephanie kind of caused it, dude, Triple H was on his shit. And so was Kurt Angle. Just great chemistry, great Gaga. Everything was great in this match. 4.5 beers. Very well could have been a 5-beer match. Just, I don't know. If it was a little bit more smooth and no botches at all, probably could have lifted it over that final half a beer for me. But yeah, really good 4.5. And dude, up next, literally the most classic Rock NWO promo segment of all time. Like
legendary even. So legendary funny. Segment.
So good.
Chico, Razor Ramon.
And dude, so good. Dude. And The Rock just probably came up with that shit.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm sure they were like, whoever helped him write his promos. I forgot the one guy, but he probably like, all right, make fun of him for being Razor Ramon, make fun of him for being Diesel, and then he was like, all
make
right,
fun of the Huckster. Yeah.
The Huckster.
So good, dude. So good. It was a very good promo. Honestly, watch that. Go back and watch it again, especially if you're following along in
YouTube it. Just Rock NWO promo. It's
there for sure. Yeah, man. And then we got a package here for Stone Cold and Chris Jericho. The best thing about this was that they obviously replaced the music. And they replaced it with some really bad like funk rock like jam band
Jim
like
Johnston.
No, it wasn't even that. It was like some peak like NBC down the chicken out. It was like a funky rock thing.
Yeah, I know it was going on for a minute.
It wasn't even like hard rock. It was like this poppy kind of like almost happy vibe.
I thought it was Jim Johnson. Had DX band vibes, like a.
Oh yeah.
That's kind of how I felt it was going.
It was still weird. And
I'm glad you noticed that too, because I thought it was just. I feel like the music, because it was different. I felt like it went on for too long because the music didn't.
Oh yeah.
I was like, what the fuck? Yeah, let's get to this match.
Yeah, let's get on to the match here. It's Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Chris Jericho for the Undisputed Championship. It started off slow, and it's a lot of chops. It's a lot of brawling on the outside. It's a lot of things that aren't my favorite. It wasn't a bad match, but these guys had a significantly better match at Vengeance. They had
exactly. That's what I was going to say. Vengeance. They set the bar at Vengeance.
It wasn't a stinker, and it served its purpose. But like without those. There were a couple really good false finishes at the end. Without those, it would have been below average. So I only gave it 3 1/4 beers. I was not into it. I honestly thought Rock and Taker was my match of the night.
Ooh, I'm going to have to wholeheartedly disagree with you here, because even though this was not as good as Vengeance, it was still a pretty good match. And I agree, it started off slow, but once they got going, it got fucking really good to me.
I was really they got going until like right at the end though.
Once Stone Cold hit the 3 superplexes, and you could and Earl Hebner just like being a dumbass. Like one thing that really just
a lot of it just didn't work. The match just
like one thing that really pissed me off. Rock spine. I mean, why keep saying Rock? Because a spine buster. Austin did a spine buster on the belt. Then when he went to pin Jericho, the belt was under his shoulder. Yeah, and his shoulder wasn't on the mat. And I was like, Earl. And then King and JR kept calling, no, not JR, the King kept calling out Earl Hebner for fucking up and being out of position. And then Jim Ross was trying to defend him. He's just like, no, what the fuck? What is he doing? He's looking at his feet. So ridiculous. I love Stone Cold, and Chris Jericho is still pretty cool. I went 4 beers. Not much. I feel
like you're just being nice, though.
But I love Stone Cold.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Okay, all right. Stone Cold match or The Rock match? If you had to pick one.
Oh man, I don't know, because I'll pick Kurt Angle and Triple H.
Okay, that's fair.
That was the better out of all of them, to be honest.
Okay, I mean, I
gave it 4 beers.
I rated them the same. I rated Rock and
Even though I gave the 4 beers because I love me some Austin, like story and work rate wise, Angle and Triple H all day out of those 3 matches. I just have that Stone Cold bug, baby.
Well, dude, all right, I have to ask you a question here now. Then, now that we're done with both shows. Which one, if you had to watch one show again, which one would you watch?
Ooh. No Way Out.
Yeah, definitely No Way Out. Yeah,
I mean, Hard to Kill was great, but
yeah, it was a great show. Like,
No Way Out has too much legendary nostalgia. You can't nobody can compete with Rock, Taker, Kurt Angle, Triple H, and Jericho and Austin in the last 3 matches, and even the undercard is fantastic.
And the NWO coming back.
NWO, you could put on some of the greatest like main event matches with modern wrestlers, and you're still not going to have as a legendary
just the roster
nostalgia
alone. Like the roster, like, okay, dude, the Hardys, the Dudleys, JBL on the show, Billy, Gold Dust, RVD, Booker
Farouk,
T,
Ron Simmons.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Of course. Yes, of course. Edge, Regal, Taker, Rock, Angle, Triple H, Austin, and Jericho.
That's I mean, literally, so many good. Like those are all Edge. Those are all main event world champions.
Hall of Famers.
1, 2, all of them. 3, 4, 5. Like literally everybody besides
like Scotty.
Some of the tag team guys and William Regal. have all been world champions. Like RVD. Seriously, this is
it's
full
of
Hall of Famers and world
champions.
champions.
Like, it's kind of crazy when you think about how many of these guys have been world champion or would become world champion. Because, I mean, you still got Christian and like
exactly.
You know, it's crazy. It's crazy. Jeff Hardy in that one. I mean, God, dude, it's JBL. Oh, God, it's ridiculous. It's a ridiculously stacked.
And those 6 wrestlers in the 3 last matches, they're all like, those are all next level, multiple time world champions, like Hall of Famer.
Dude. O2 is so underrated, man. O2 is so underrated. It's
all of those guys have wrestled, besides Rock and Triple H, like all the rest of those guys have, like, you know, wrestled everywhere and been around everywhere. Yeah. Triple H did some WCW, but The Rock, he's the only ever wrestled really WWF. Like, think about that. The Rock never went to Japan. The Rock never wrestled really the indies besides Memphis, when that wasn't really the indies like it is now. The Rock never went to Mexico. Yeah. The Rock never really.
Well, The Rock was, you know, he was Flex Cabana in Memphis for like, I mean, almost a year.
But, you know, the indies back then is nothing like.
Right. Oh, totally.
Like
yeah. No,
indies.
Absolutely not. Yeah. Dude. Yes, I was on those indies. Like, trust me, it's not the same, dude. It was okay. And honestly, it's because backyard wrestling was so popular in the late 90s and the early 2000s. That's why, because there were so many indie promotions. Like, you could wrestle 5 days a week and not leave Nashville because there was a backyard show or whatever. I mean, that was a normal thing. Like. And that's what the indies sucked. It was
backyards are cool. That's where, you know, like the young bucks,
but I mean, but what I'm saying is that
at their starts.
I would dare say that in 2002 till 2006 or 7, more, maybe not more, but at least 30% of indie wrestlers were not ever trained. They had just wrestled in backyards, found their way onto local shows, and just started wrestling.
The Young Bucks never were formally trained. They literally,
yeah, I know. Of course, yes, and that story's there for a handful of people. The Hardys,
Matt
they
Cross,
made their own promotion.
People, yeah.
Yes, I get that, but what I'm saying is, like, think of how many people were into wrestling at the time. Think of how many of those
because
outlaw
nowadays,
backyard promotions there
some
were.
Some people like it, but back then everybody loved wrestling.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So everybody was kind of pretending to be wrestler at the time. Me, myself included, 100%. Like, I had no bit. I mean, I got trained.
I wrestled on the trampoline with my little brother and hurt my knee, so I understand.
Did you film it and put it out on like LimeWire, your like clips on YouTube and that kind of thing? Actually, it wasn't even YouTube. Nah, you could just download stuff on like LimeWire and Kazaa. You could download like clips and stuff.
My technology skills were not that good in like 2002. I was like 10 or 11.
I think DSL had just come out. We were just out of the dial-up.
Oh, yeah. I remember when DSL first came out. I told the story earlier. Me and my friend got a virus on his parents' computer the night they got DSL.
Nice.
Because we were going to like rotten.com and just like a bunch of weird, you know, old internet was weird and unregulated and you could find weird shit and get viruses. So.
Yep. It was a normal thing. Well done. Very well done. What he really meant to say was trying to find some weird porn that they were watching together.
Oh, yeah. efucked.com.
Nice. Old school. Good throwback right there. Well done. That's an applause right there.
Hell
I don't know if we can.
Old school internet.
I don't know if we can end at least this part of the episode any better than that. So let's talk about what we got coming up. This week has been Impact's Hard to Kill 2022 versus WWE's No Way Out from 2002. I'm super excited about continuing to go on with our 2002 storyline. We're going to take one step back and go to their Royal Rumble here in a couple weeks. But next week is the debut of the monthly Baker's Dozen. Jesse Baker is taking over the show. Good old Jesse Baker, the patron saint of the Rock Block, is taking over. He's going to have a special guest that is yet to be announced, and they're going to be kind of discussing a lot of what the current stuff is, and they're going to have a more of a free-form format. I don't know if you guys listen to like the X-Pac podcast or more like what's the one that everybody likes? The one with Bully Ray.
The Busted Open Radio?
Yeah, Busted Open Radio. I think that I believe that's going to be kind of more of his format. And I think that's going to be awesome. I'm excited to see what happens there. And to be completely honest, I'm excited about having like a week where I can just be a fan and just listen to the podcast and I don't have to be a part of it. You know what I mean? How you feeling about the Baker's Dozen next week, Wex?
Very excited for it. I'm down to do some little promotion, help out, get it popping off, especially once we find out who that special guest is. And yeah, it'll be kind of cool. Like you said, take a step back, get to just watch wrestling just to enjoy it, not have to take notes on, cramming in pay-per-views while I'm at work, in the bathroom, taking a shit. Just kidding. I don't do that, or do I? Only you'll know. Only I'll know. We'll find out one day.
Maybe we'll find out on the TikToks. But 2 weeks from now.
Speaking of, TikToks back on my phone. Got a new phone, more storage, so we're gonna get back on there, baby.
Yeah, baby. I need to get back on there too, but it's a new year and I'm trying to sell some houses too, so that's kind of taking precedent these days. But I will try to get on the TikTok at least once a week, or at least once a month. At least that's what I meant to say. Jesus, once a week. That's way too much on TikTok. I'm so old. Let's just keep it going. 2 weeks from now, we have the GCW The World 2022 show. It's from the Hammerstein Ballroom. I'm very excited to be covering GCW.
Hell yeah.
And that one is going to be the beginning of our Royal Rumble season. And we're going to go back to 2007. We had just covered a few weeks ago. We covered that terrible December to Dismember pay-per-view from 2006, and that would have been the last one right before this pay-per-view. So we're going to keep our nostalgia storylines going here. We're jumping straight into WWE's Royal Rumble 2007. I'm hype about it, man. I liked kind of this era too. What do you even call this era? I think we're past the Ruthless Aggression era, right? We're not quite the PG either. We're another transition, right?
Era. So this is still pre-PG era. This is almost right before the PG era. This was the I don't know, that weird little.
It's like 07 to 09, right? Because I feel like
yeah, that's like
aggression era is like 04 to 06. You know?
Yeah, 07 to 09 is the Wex high school era.
Yeah. So yeah, okay. I'm into that. That sounds right. Dude, I'm psyched. I'm psyched about what we got going on. Next week is the Baker's Dozen. The week after, we're covering GCW, and we're going back to 2007 with their Royal Rumble. Royal Rumble is my favorite pay-per-view, period, that WWE does ever. It's always been my favorite. And I'm a wrestling guy. I'm a bell-to-bell guy. I'm a work rate guy for sure. But there's just something about the Royal Rumble. The matches always suck, but there's just something about seeing it. There's just something about the excitement. There's something about it every year. I'm excited about this season, man. I dare say that Royal Rumble means more to me nostalgia-wise than WrestleMania does, to be honest with you.
Dude, yeah. So I got a question for you. Since we already know about Mickie James, Impact World Champion, being in the Women's Royal Rumble.
I was waiting for this, yeah.
I heard that there could possibly be a secret Forbidden Door entrance not announced for the Men's Rumble. Who do you think that would be, or who could it be?
It's going to be an AEW guy. I don't think it's going to be an Impact guy. I think it's going to be Chris Jericho.
I think it's going to be Bryan Danielson.
Okay.
Because he just got beat. He just got defeated. Doesn't have a current storyline going right now. He wasn't on Dynamite. I could see him doing, his wife's going to be in the match for the women's. I could see him doing a one-off. I mean, Jericho did Broken Skull sessions. They say Tony Khan's been talking to John Laurinaitis about using current AEW wrestlers in like upcoming video biography projects for current WWF wrestlers.
Yeah, for Peacock stuff, yeah.
So honestly, even though we have all these fans who just like split, we have like the WWE marks, the AEW marks. Like, I just like wrestling, and I think the fans are digging too hard into this, and I think that people are just trying to make some money and put on some good product.
Yeah, man. I'm excited about what we got going on. Royal Rumble season's my favorite. I'm super hype about it. You can always find the show at KFABcom on all the socials except for TikTok. It's going to be at KFABcom there. You can always find me at Daniel Daybreak on all the socials. You can always find the show at KFAB Comparisons, just KFAB Comparisons on YouTube. We're going to be doing a little bit more of that in the very near future. And Wex, where can people find you, man?
You can always find your boy Wex at Wex breaking the Lawson on all your social medias. I'm going to leave it at that.
Nice. I love it, man. That's going to do it for us this week. We will see you guys next week. We are out. Peace.
Holla.